Hi guys, welcome to Becodewala. I welcome you to my new amazing tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to build a full stack project. This is my first full stack project that we are going to build, and first we'll start with the simple CRUD operation like create, read, update and delete. So I choose a simple project, and not only this is the advanced to-do list app. So I will show you what are the extra and advanced things that we have added to this project, and this project is built on top of MERN Stack like MongoDB, Express, React and Node.js. And for the styling we are using Tailwind CSS, and we have included a lot of features. So let's go through our application. So we have already logged in, so we have to log out. So when you go for the first time, when you run your project, we have to sign up first. So if I try to sign in without sign up, it will say invalid credentials, right? So it will fail. So we have to sign up first, like we Becodewala. Then we can write our email. We can write the email like be123@gmail.com. So after writing your email, we have to write our password. So like 12345 12345 any password you can see. Then we have to confirm password 12345. Suppose I have written wrong password. So first of all it's saying the at least 6 character, and now I have written wrong password, so password does not match. So we have to write correct password. So then only it will create a account and redirect to the dashboard. So this how we have added authentication to our application. Suppose user come back and we want to log in, so we can log in without email and password. If I try to put wrong email and password, it will show a error, right? So we have to type the correct email and password for the authentication. And in the like in here in the application we are storing the user id, you can see that. And we are in the currently dark mode, right? So here we are in the dark mode, we can change to the light mode. This is the extra functionality we have added. Not only this, here you can see your all the tasks. So how many tasks due today, how many have high priority, how many have pendings task, and how many completed. And we have a filter also. So and not only this, we have a profile section where you can change your name, but you can't change your email because email is a unique thing that we are going to use to identify yourself. Then here we have a current password, new password. You can change your password after putting your current password, new password and confirm password. So this is the extra feature we have added. You can manage your profile, change the theme like dark mode to light mode, and then we can see our due today. So how many tasks is due for the today, and how many high priority tasks, how many pendings and how many completed. So let's create a new task. So suppose I have created a task like coding. So I have to do coding like JavaScript. Then I have written the low priority here, and here we have to mention the today date or the future date. If you try to post, suppose I have keep here 4th June, right? So it is the past date. Today is the 9th June. So 9th June is the today date, but we have added the 4th June, that is the past date. But when you try to create, it will show a message cannot create a task with the past due date. So this is the extra corner points we have added. So we have to think like when you design your back end front end, you have to check the every corner points. So not only this, we can here you can change the pending or completed your task. Then here high priority or low priority. Suppose I have added high priority and created a task, but it's saying cannot create to the due date. So you have to change the date, like I have added the today date suppose. and I have created the now task has been created, and you can filter out pending coding. This task is and no task is completed, right? So let's see the due today. So today is the this 9 June, right? And you can see that the count is 1, means one task is pending for today and high priority. So this task has a high priority. So here showing the one task is pending also. So here this task is pending. So when I mark is a complete, suppose I mark it as a complete. Now you can see that a this has been a check mark. You can take the check mark. You can click on here also, so you can update through here also. So like we have created our task, right? What is CRUD operation? We have created our task right now, right? Suppose I have created eating, so I have to eat what I have to eat, like burger. And suppose that today day, not the 19th June, and task is created. This is CRUD C. So create. Read means we are reading all data. We are now reading. Here is our all data, right? Read and update. So suppose we want to update. So here also you can click on the this mark. Now the mark is not in green color. When I click on it, so it has marked to green color, means it has been completed. And you can see that when I click on this, see pending task is 1, right? When I click on it, so pending task is 0 and completed becomes 2. You can see the dashboard. When I click on the check mark again, so completed is 1, and because you have completed 1 and 1 is pending, you see the 1 is pending. So, and when I click on this, so here you can see the due today. So due today is the 19th June. So in 19th June you can see that the this is the only task have a high priority and the today date, right? So it is showing this data, and we can filter it out. Completed, 0 completed. So we have to complete. So suppose I have completed this. So you see the in the completed and in the pending. And suppose I have completed both of them. So in the completed we got the both of them. In the pending nothing is pending because pending equal to 0, right? So these are all this feature we have added, right? And you can change to dark to light mode. You can see in the different themes. Not only this, let's go and delete any of them. So you can click on it and it will confirm you are you sure to want to delete, so you can delete it here. And here you can update it also. So not only this, go to the profile setting. Here you can see like Becodewala subscribe. So here you can change this, and suppose my current password 12345 6 I've added, right? And you can see that the password, right? Now I have to change that password, right, to 1234567. Up to 7 I have written 1234567, right? Then we have to click on save changes. Your profile updated successfully, right? Suppose I am logged out and I put the password 12345 6, the before password. So then it will show invalid credential because it will check in the my database this password is wrong. So I have to type the correct password. So 127 I have written. The password has been changed to 127, not 126. So now if I try to log in, it will be logged in, right? You can see that it is fully functional working. I can see that before it was Becodewala, now is Becodewala subscribe. It has been updated successfully. When you come back, you will see your all data, and all this data is saved in the MongoDB database. And I will show you how to connect your MongoDB database, how we can manage all this data and save everything. So this is the CRUD operation, like creating tasks, reading the data, updating the data, and deleting the data. So all these things we are going to see in this project. So I will going to teach you everything for the MERN Stack with this initial project. So after that we'll move on to the big project. So let's start with the coding part. So now we have created a folder name with the to do it. and here we have a folder we have created like backend and the front end. So we'll write our both code in the separate file so that it will be easy to manage all these things. So if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe us. So we'll start with the backend part. So always write your backend part first, then write the front end. So in the I have imported my backend folder in my VS Code. Then what I have to do first of all? So after importing your backend file, I have to initialize our npm init -y so that our package.json will be created, and there I will so I will sorry, I have written the wrong command. Npm init -y, not I. We have to write init. I means install. So after running this command, a package.json will be created. Name with the backend. Here you can change the name, version, description, like we can write to do backend, right? So we can change the package.json, or else you can create your ourself. You can package.json, and here you can see that the common JS not we are going to use module not common JS, right? Then in the package.json we have to write the script. So how to run our application? So I will write a script like start, and in this I'll write node server.js. Then on the day nodebone server.js, but here we don't have server.js, so let's create server.js. So here is the main file where all the control of our backend application will be there. So server.js. Then in the package.json, what are the next thing we have to do? So we have to install nodemon. We have used nodemon. So like when we make changes, right, here something we are writing some code, right? So that changes will not be updated. We have to close the server, restart the server to see the changes, right? So that is very irritating, right? So we have to use nodemon. So when we use nodemon, whatever the changes we will do in the backend, it will automatically update in the real time. So we will install nodemon. So npm I nodemon, right? And we write as a -d for the dev dependency. We can write use it as a dev dependency. So here a dev dependency in the nodemon, that the version has been created. Now after this, what are the package we are going to use in this project? So first of all we are going to use express. So npm I like express. Then other thing like bcrypt.js to crypt.js, right? Then we have to write cookie parser. So what is cookie parser? Suppose I am logged in here, right? So go to the application and see in the cookies. Where is cookies? So you can see that we have a cookies like JWT here. Here we have a JWT key. You can see that the JWT token. So the JWT can store the user information, right? Suppose you have logged in, right? When you come back, we can see that our task. We can't see other user task, right? This is your task. So how we are going to check that? And you are authenticated user, you are a right user or not, you are authenticated or not. How we are going to check? We are going to check using JWT token. So this JWT token store our information, the user information, and whenever we go for our adding task, creating and completed task, managing profile, every time our JWT token is using in our project. So that cookie parser, what it will do, this is this, if you see this, it is a normal token. We can't read this where who is the user, right? So cookie parser will parse this data in the local store. You can store in the local store, but cookie is the best way to store our user JWT token. So, and this cookie will update every time when we user log out, log in, right? So this is the cookie part. After that, we have to install cores. So cores, like when we build a front end and we are accessing the data from the backend. So our server is running on something for 5000 and our front end is running on the 5173. So we don't allow other side to collect our data, right? So we are using cores. So cores protect our, like, our backend, so not access to every site, right? And this is the most important thing, so we will see in detail later. So .env, so suppose we are building this our backend, but in this we are using some secret key like MongoDB URL, and we are using like what we call like JWT secret and many secret keys. So we used to do in the .env file in the front end, right? So here also we do the same thing, but to get that env file, the whatever the env file, that variables we have defined, to get that we have to use the .env. Otherwise our our backend, the express, will not able to get that secret key. So we have to use .env. And after .env, what are the other thing we have to use in our project? So we can use express validator. express va- Express validator is a like middleware in a Node.js. So it, what it does, like when user input or something, some malware or some wrong information the user is putting, and the user is trying to make our changes to our backend. So so the express validator will sanitize the data, the input data, and it will prevent our and protect our backend. So we are using express validator. And JSON web token. So what is JSON web token? So JSON web token that we have seen now. So here is the JWT token. This is JSON web token. JWT is the short form. So here how the JWT creating this token. So this JWT token, suppose the user has a particular user ID that we use on MongoDB. With that user ID, it will create a token, a random combination of the this numbers, letters, right? So for that we are using JSON web token. And to get, so it will take the user information and make it in such a way that so no one can use this, and so no one can know that so who is the user. So here you can see that it is not written here who is Becodewala here in the token, right? So only the cookie parser will pass that token, and to pass that token we are using the, like, in the .env, like JWT secret. So we have to include the secret key also. So with that is secret key only we are going to like decrypt this data. We have to decrypt this token with that secret key only. Without that secret key you can't get the user. Suppose I have shared this to somebody, but somebody can't pass the data, he can't find the user data because he need the JWT secret. So that secret will be with us, right? So after that we have to install mongoose. So mongoose, so it is a MongoDB framework, and it provides a very proper way of writing code with the less amount of code and the larger functionality and the simpler code. And we have to install all these things. So all these things we have to install, and it will be included in our package.json. So let's wait for that. It has been installed. Now here we can start writing our server.js. So we can start writing our backend code. So first of all, I will import what we are going to import. I'll remove this. Import express from express, right? So here using type module, that's why we are using import, right? Here we can see the where is our type module. Yeah, here it is. So type module, right? So here using type module, that's why import express from express. If suppose we are using common.js, where it is, so suppose I change to common.js. So now we can import like const express equal to require express. So when you are using common.js, we have to import packages like this, but when you are using type module, we have to use import and export statement, right? So we have to import like this when you're using type module. Then we have to import .env. So .env, what it does, so suppose I have created a .env file, so like jwt secret. Suppose here will be our jw secret, suppose. So we have to access that env file in our server.js. How our backend going to access? So backend cannot directly access our JWT secret. We have to use a package.env, so that .env will help the backend to access this secret key, right? So that's why we are using .env. Now import cookie parser. Here in the we have to import course. So the course I have explained you what is course. So course help the accessing the data from the backend to the front end, right? Then import connect db from config db.js. So we have to create a file config, and in this we have to config our what is called like database, and we are using javascript, right? So here we have to write our MongoDB code. So how we are going to write the MongoDB code? How we are going to connect our MongoDB? So to connect our MongoDB, so so I am using Mongoose, right? So not MongoDB. So we have to import our Mongoose. Then after that, because when we write use MongoDB, it requires a lot of code, and it is very difficult to write. So Mongoose is a very easy way to write and get the proper functionality like MongoDB, and with the some extra feature, right? So Mongoose is the very easy way and the fast way to build our backend. So here we can see that we have to create a const connect db, and in this we are going to use async await. Why using async await? So when you are connecting to your database, we have to use async await because we are connecting to the some database like MongoDB. So it may take time, right? Try catch. So so try catch block, and here if any error will be there, it will show the error message and it will be exit. And here we have to write the main code how we are going to connect our database. So connect. So here we have to like await. Here we are guessing, so we have to await. Then mongoose dot connect. So we have to connect our mongoose, right? We'll get the mongo URI. So mongo URI. So let me process dot env dot mongo URI, right? And after, so here the mongo URI will come from the .env. So how to get mongo URI? I'll show you. Let me write one more line of code and I'll show you how to do it. So here we can write console.log mongodb, then connection host, and here we can remove this thing, don't want. So here mongodb connected and the host name. So when our mongodb will be connected, suppose here and I learn npm run dev, so it will show it will show nothing, it will show error only. So you can see that it is showing the error because we have not exported. You can see that provided exported default, so it has been not provided the export default, so we have to export our mongodb the connectdb. So I have exported, but it will show nothing. We don't have error, but it will show nothing because we have not connected our mongo URI. So to get the mongo URI, we have to keep in a .env. So go to the our browser, search MongoDB. So go to the mongodb.com. We have to log in with the mongodb.com and we are going to use MongoDB Atlas. So let me sign in. So let me sign in with my Google account. After logging to your MongoDB, here we will find the project. So here I have created many projects, right? So suppose we have to create a new project. So here you can click on new project, right? And after the creating, you can write your project name like Todo. Suppose I have written Todo. Then click on next. So here you can add member permission or something. So I don't want to add. Just create on create project, and it will create your project. And after that, after creating, we have to create a cluster. So in the cluster everything will be present. So here we have to create a free cluster. We have to select the free cluster and it will provide 512 MB, right? And here it will automatically fill all this data I got into. And here the region is Mumbai, so I'm clicking on that, and provider I'm using AWS, and click on create deployment. So it is very easy to get the Mongo URI. So after this it will provide you a username and password. You can change your user password also, don't worry. So here suppose I have MongoDB Campus installed, and here it will get the MongoDB URI. So this thing we have to copy, and here you can see that the username and the password is already filled. So we have to go here and paste it. And no, and here after the .net we have to pass the slash and your database name like to do yt. So if you will not write after the slash the database name, so it will create with the random thing. Like I'll show you. Suppose I have installed the MongoDB campus. You can install the MongoDB campus from the browser. Here you can go and search MongoDB campus. So MongoDB campus you can install here. So go to the MongoDB campus, and here you can go as according to your configuration you can install MongoDB campus. So the MongoDB campus will help you to build your projects in a more better way. So here you can click your, and here you can, suppose I have what I have written here. This is the to do id, so this is the url, and must check your username and password is present here in the URI, otherwise it will not be connected. And here you can write like name, like to do, and you can select the color also like orange, and save and connect. When you click on save and connect, you can see that our MongoDB is connected. Because, and we don't have a models right now, we don't have models, right? Like, one more thing I want to tell you. Suppose after creating this, close this. So database access. So suppose if you change your location, suppose we are building with the some place, like suppose I am building in the your home, then suppose tomorrow we are building in the college, so we will not able to access your data, right? It will not be connected. It will, when I will come back to this dashboard, it will show a IP address to connect. So here we have to again add the IP address and all. So if you don't want to again and again change here, like connect daily, if you are, we have to connect again and again. So you have to allow access from anywhere. When you keep this, anybody can allow, you are allowing to access your database if they know your like password and the username. So do not share your password and username with the anybody. So here if I allow, so if I'll come back tomorrow and I will restart my project, it will not ask like connect your current IP address. So we don't have to regularly connect to your IP address, right? So I have because I have allowed all any access, any IP address. Come back here, and now let's close this, and now let's run. So when I close and run this, you can see that it is showing nothing, because in the server.js we have to use this connect db, then only it will show the message. So see, whenever I do changes, our server, the here you can see in the terminal, the node will update the all the data in the real time, right? So after importing connect.db, you can import task route from the route.js. So let's create one more file, routes. So here all our routes will be there. So suppose we are on the 5173 on the local dashboard, and now we are on the profile route, right? So all this route I will write in this route folder, and in this we can write like user routes.js. Here the user routes will be there. Then we can create one more route like task route. So all the tasks, for the task we can write the task routes. So it will be easy to manage all the routes for the different things. And after that, can import task routes, right? And then we have to config our .env, so that anything that we need in our this project, like where we are connecting to MongoDB, if we need our the secret key, it will get the that secret key to use in our backend. Then we have to make an object with the express, and this express will help you to create your server. So first we will define our port. So at what port our server will run. So suppose I have added some port, like here in the port. So suppose I have added 3000. So suppose if I want to run my project on the 3000, it will run on the 3000 port number, otherwise it will run on the 5000. Suppose I have not added this port, so it will automatically run on the 5000 port, right? Then we can call the connect db. So when we call the connect db, so suppose we have error right now because we have not created our task route, so we will see that also. So first of all, let's go for the removal of this thing. So suppose I have removed all these things, so our backend has been started, and you can see that the MongoDB is connected at this the host name that we have written in the dbj, the host. You can see that the MongoDB host that is connected. You can see that the message, right? This is how we have connected our MongoDB. Now you know that how to connect your Mongo URI, right? Your Mongo is connected, so we have to build the all these user routes and task route, otherwise it will give the error. So first of all, let's start with the user routes, so with the proper authentication, login, sign up and all those things, right? So let's go for the user routes. So in the user routes, first we'll import express from express, then we can import user, so from models user.js. We don't have model right now, so we have to create the model also. So close all these things. Let me, so models. So in the models, what is the model? So model is like defining your structure for your database. Suppose I'll show you. In the models we can write like user model dot js. Suppose we have a user model, so in the user model, how we are, how our user gonna to store in the database user data. So import mongoose, so we are storing the mongoose, right? So we have to import the mongoose first, then we have to import bcrypt. To bcrypt means we have to make our password. So suppose your user is login, we do not store the whatever the user has added, do not store in the database, simply the text form. So we have to make something like the hashtag, something the random numbers we have to convert to that, so that no one is able to read that. So we have to make our user data should be protected. So in this we have to create user schema, and we have to create a new mongoose schema. So do not no need to use new, you can use just mongoose.schema. And in this schema means the like blueprint, something like that we use. So like suppose the user has name, so when the user will log in, right, it will, the user has a name and required true, right? So when user will sign up, suppose user is log out and go for the sign up, you can see that the user has a name and all those things. So suppose I have written all these things, password 123456 1 2 3 4 5 6, and I try to create account. You can see please fill out this field because this field is required. You have to type the name and type should be string. So in the database we define model. So how our user data we are going to store, what are the data we are going to store in the database. So like suppose we want email also, so email type is string, required means true, means we need email, we can't proceed without email. And unique is true because email should be unique, right? Name can be same for the two person, but email should be same. Then you can use password. So user has a password, right? Type string and require to, because without password user can't log in, right? Then so here we have to one more thing, we have create timestamp. So what this timestamp do? So suppose you are in the here I'll show you on the database only. I have some projects, so let me show you. Suppose this project. So when the user login, this is my other project that I am showing you. So when the user created it, show a timestamp which date and time the user has been created, right? So this, to create that we have to use like timestamp true. So that's why we are using this, right? Hope you understand. Then we can use the user schema before saving dot pre, means before saving we have to do some function like. So what are the function we have to do? So before saving the user we have to create a async function like if password is not modified return next. So what does it mean? So if user try to log in, so here user is try to log in and user has been logged in, right? And because user has been not modify his password, means he did not change his password, then he can go for the next step, like he can all the building a task, create new task, manage profile and all. And if user is, suppose user had changed the password, suppose I go for it the profile and user had changed some password, right? But the password is in the text form, like suppose we write 1 2 and the number form like 1 2 6, that we can't store the simply 1 2 6 in our database. In our database the password will be stored like, see, you can see that the password, can you read this password, what is the password? So this is not the real password, this is the decrypt data, right, to protect the user data. So if user is changing his password or he is coming for the first time, we have to decrypt the data using bcrypt.js. So bcrypt.js decrypt your simple text with the, you can see that bcrypt gen salt with the 10 time, means it will, what is gen salt, is a number of rounds. Suppose we have 10 rounds, we have 10 rounds, it will like manipulate your data into these random numbers. You can see that the random numbers, letters and symbols. If this password, so this is the solved form. So we have a like some random digits. Suppose we have a some random digit numbers. So with that random digit number we have to create a combination such that with that password, suppose user had entered the password 126 and the salt is like some random number. So that random numbers decrypt data, it will mix with our password and it will create a hash form and then it will save to the database. So it take the that salt, means the random some text form data and the numbers, whatever the random data will be there, it will be combined with this hash password, sorry, the normal password. This is not the hash password, this password means the user input password like 126, it will combine with the salt, the random password, and it will create a hash. Bcrypt.hash means it will create, move into the hash form. So it has created the hash form like this and then it will save to the database. So it will save to the database and then it will go for the next thing, means the next is a middleware. So it will go for the next process. So after suppose user has login, it will go for the next process like on the dashboard, here there you can user can create. So without this process user can't go for the other work, right? Now one more thing with our user schema dot. So suppose like user has a match password, right? User has entered a suppose, so no JWT token in this cookie present, right? So the our password is in this form, in the hash form, but we are writing 1 to 6 here for the password for our email ID, right? So how it going to match? Because 1 to 6, that number is not equal to this hash, right? So when the user is login, what it does in this process, in the few seconds, it does like, let me write the full code, then I will show you the password, then it will return a bit. So what it does, suppose user method dot match password. So if it will match the user password with the, here we have a bcrypt hash, means we are using bcrypt hash to hash the password. Means suppose you have password 1 to 6 and the random digit some salt we have created, we have hashed the password. Now no one can read this. So but if we want our password back, so suppose user is logging here, so how our database going to compare 1 to 6 to the hash password? So that bcrypt dot compare, what it does behind the scenes, so bcrypt dot compare, it takes the enter password and this password. So enter password, suppose I have entered 1 to 6, here I password enter 1 to 6, right? And in the this dot password means the user shared password, this is in the hash form. So what it does, it take both the things, right? And then it will compare, Pirkit compare, what is that, it will, this password will be converted to this, what is converted to the normal text, and then it will compare. So what it does, Pirkit dot compare, it will compare with the enter password and the database of password, and then only it will tell that user has written the correct password, and then it will go for the other process. Suppose I have written wrong password, so it will show invalid credentials, right? And if I write correct password, it will go to the dashboard. So these are the important things that we have to do while creating our models. Then here we can create a const user model. So after creating user schema, here is the user schema, and then we have to use that schema, how our data is stored, we have to create the model. So we have to use in the future, so we please write carefully the user, here the name of the model, and the with this schema, this is the name of the model that will appear in our database, and this is the schema, the user schema that we have created right now, right? So after that we have to export this model. Now let's continue with the building our user routes. We have imported express and user model, we have created the user model. So let's import generate token from the utils token, generate token. So we have to create one more folder, close all these things, utils folder, and in this utils folder we have to create our generate token file, generate token.js. So for what we are using generate token.js in the user routes. So suppose user is login, we are creating JSON token, right? JWT token. So for that we are going to use generate token file, and in this file we will write all the code, so that the whenever user will log in, so with the user information it will create a JWT token, and that JWT token will help the user to go to the different routes, manage tasks, create, delete, update, and all this simple file managing and all these things. So with that JWT token only user can perform all the operation, right? So here import JWT from the JSON web token, Then we have to create a function generate token, and it will, so when we are using creating token, right, so we have to take the user information, right, so that in that token we store the user information in a such a way that other people can't use and can't see that the user information, but in our Jada token it will be hidden, the user information will be hidden, and whenever we need we can extract the user information and perform all the tasks. So we have to give the response, and we are using user id. So for the creating token we are using user id. So user id has a unique id. Suppose if any user login in the database, it has a unique id. You can see that the object, you can see the object id, you can see the this id. So every user has his own id, right? So we have to use the id to create the token. And in this function what we will do, const token equal to, so how we are going to create our JWT token. So JWT dot sign, so user will sign. Suppose we sign on a document, you went to the bank, so you sign a check, so we have a unique sign. So similarly when user is authenticated, where user is login, you have to sign with the JWT token, and it is the JWT token will be unique. And in this we have to use user id. With the user id we have to create the token, and with what, process dot env dot jwt secret. So in the dot env we are using jwt secret. Here you can write your jwt, like suppose I am using the jwt secret is Becodewala. So if anybody knows my secret key and my jwt token, then he can get my user information, right? So do not share your secret key with anybody. And here you can write the expiry time. Suppose we have seen that when we log into a website, so when you come back, so suppose I close this site, suppose I close this site, and again I come back to the localhost 5173, right? Again I come back to the localhost 5173, and I'm logged in already. You can see that why I am logged in already. Why is not redirecting me to the login page again? Because our JWT token is present here. Okay, and it will expire in 30 days, means this JWT token will remove after 30 days. After creating this function, we can, suppose we have created our JWT token, we have created, now we have to store in the cookie, right? We have stored our JWT token in the cookie here. So how we are going to store? So response.cookie, response.cookie, and in this we have to pass the token. So here we have a token, right? So what is the name of, so suppose here I have written JWT, so here JWT, so from where this name coming from? JWT is coming from here, JWT that we have written here. And with what we have to store that token, so this token will come from this here, this constant variable. And after that in this we have to write some configuration, http only, and we can write it true and secure when the production like not equal to, you can write, so secure on the .env not equal to production, right? Sorry, not on the development. So for the, if you are using development, so then you can use not operator. Otherwise if you are in production, you can use secure cookies in the production. And your same site is strict, you can't use in the same site. And here you can write your message duration 30 days, that we have already written, but here also we can define, right? And after that, And one more mistake we are doing, we are writing outside. This thing we have to write inside of our function. That's the wrong thing we are doing. So here we have to write our this function, and then after that we have to export so that we can use. So generate token has been export, right? And now our generate token function, the util function has been created, and now when the user will log in, the token will be created, and only with the token user can access all the data, right? So this is the most important thing when you are writing the backend code. Now let's go for the user route. What are the next thing we have to create? So in the next thing we have to create a middleware. So in middleware we have to create. So what is the name of the middleware? Like protect. Suppose I have created a protect middleware. So we have to create a file named middleware. New file name with the what we can write the name of the file, auth middleware, because we are writing for the authentication purpose. So suppose why I am writing this auth middleware, I am going to tell you. Suppose user is on a front end, right? User is on front end. So from our front end is getting all this data, right? Our front end is getting all this data. So all this token, where it is coming from? It is coming from the all this the information. Suppose our information is on the backend and we want to access on the front end. So we have to connect with the backend, right? Our front end with the backend, and protect middleware protect each and every route. Suppose I am going to the profile, so it will check every time, it will check with the JWT token, right? That I am authorized or not. I- if I am authorized, then it will show this page, otherwise it will not show page. So middleware is like the checking for the doing performing task. Suppose you are performing this task, so this time when you create task, that time also the middleware is using. Let's create our middleware. Import JWT from JSON web token, then import our model, right? And then we can create our protect middleware that will protect our site. Suppose we are on the profile page, it will protect our profile page to not access from anybody. This profile page can access by me only. So to protect this we are using middleware. Protect async await. So here request response and next means if a request is correct, then it will give the response, and then it will go for the next process. So like fetching the profile data. Then let's define token let token, and then here we can write the all the function, right? Authorization header is present or not. So how to check it? So let's create if headers dot authorization. So if headers dot authorization and request dot header dot authorization start with the bearer, means in our authorization, if our token is present or our token start with the bearer, means like when you call for an API, so that time you have to pass the token, right? So that token with the bearer or start with the authorization. In the authorization, if our token is there, you can see that we have to split that token. So what this line does, like in our authorization, we have to split that authorization and we have to select the first. So we are splitting into array of string of array. So it will give two string like bearer and the token. So we have to select that token. So at the second position, means the first index, not the 0th index, first index, our token will be there. So we have to extract that token from the header. And then if we got the token, we have to verify that token JWT token and with the JWT secret. We need the JWT secret, that with this JWT secret, before we have, like we have generated the token, we have created the token using JWT secret with the user ID, right? Now we have to decode that. We have to decode that JWT token with the JWT secret. If we decode it, we get the user ID, because here with the user ID and the JWT secret we are creating our JWT token. And now with the JWT secret and the token, we are decoding our token to get the user ID. See here, after decoding, so JWT.verify will decode the user ID. So in the decode it will find the ID of that user, and we will remove the password. Select, and you can write it minus password, means we don't want password. So when we select the ID, we remove the password, and all the data that we need we can fetch from the this token. And we will find the, after finding that ID, we have to find that ID in our database. So in the user model, when we'll create the model, user model that we have created, right, in this it will find the ID. So here when we create our, when user will log in, a ID will create, right, the ID. So here you can see that when the user login, it has a ID, right, and this ID contain all this information with this ID, like email, password and everything. So we have to find this ID, that ID that we got from the this token, and we have to find in the database. If we got that, then we can give the requested user, right? So here if we search the profile here with the JWT token, the our this route is verified that we are the authorization user, right? So we find the user by ID, and it will go to the next middleware or route handler. So next is a function that move the our to the next route handler or the next process, whatever it is. And if any error will be there, it will show not authorized, token failed, right? Then we have written the if condition. Then we will write else if condition. Else if, so what we are going to write? So in this we will pass request dot cookie dot token. So first of all, we find the token in the authorization header, right? We are finding the token in the authorization header. We are checking for the token, right? Now we are checking the token if not in header. Suppose our token is not present in the header, right? If our token is not present in the header, what we will do? We have to find the token in the cookies. So in the cookies, you can see that our token is in cookies, right? Our token is in cookies, and we, if we don't find our token in the authorization header, we can find the token from the cookie, right? Here you can see that the token is present in cookie. So how to find the token from the cookie? So two things we are learning here. So how to find the token from the authorization header, and here how to find the token from the cookies, right? So request.cookies.token means in this cookies where it is, so here request.cookies.token, right? And in this, if we got the token, see, if we got the token from the cookies, right? If the our token is present, then we have to decode that token with the jwt.verify. When we are creating the token, we are using jwt.sign, and then to verify our the token, the correct token it is not, to we have to use that token with the jwt secret to verify that user, and we have to decode it. And after decoding, we will get the id, and this id what it will do, it will remove that password. We need everything from the user. We don't want the user password, we want the user only data. So with that id, we have to find that id that matches to the database id, and we get the requested user, and we will show to the front end, right? So I have shown you the two methods to find that the token from the authorization header and the cookies, right? And here we can write the else condition. So if no token, no auto authorize, and we can pass no token, and we can export this protect. So we can export like this. So we have exported. Now come for the continuation of our user routes. So we have created the protect middleware, right? So in user routes, we have to create many routes like sign up, register, and many routes. So we are going to use group routes. So what is group routes? So this is called group routes. So express.router is used to create the group routes, right? Suppose here in our server.js, let's continue writing server.js. So in our server.js, let's continue it. So I'll complete it server.js right now only. So here we have to use app.course, right? App.course. Why you are using app.course? To suppose we have to send our data to the front end. So our front end is running on the different side, right? So it will not allow to access our backend data. So we are using course. So in course, we have to write the app.use. So why you are using app.use? Because we want course this middleware on the application level to hold our application, all our application, right? And here we can write 5173, or here we are passing the front end url, to which url we have to pass the data, the client url, right? Then after that, and here we can pass the credential true also. So what is the meaning of credential true? We will see in the front end when we will build this, right? And then we have to create one more middleware to pass the JSON. Then we have to use the cookie parser also to pass the cookies, right, to get the data. And we have to use another middleware to get the form data, like when we are using sign up and all login button, whatever the form, to pass that data, we are using this middleware. These are the three app level middleware, and these are the app. This is the express.json is the built-in middleware. This is also built-in. This is also built-in middleware in the node.js. Then we have to create the user. So here we have to pass the API slash user, means we suppose we our backend is running on uh, 5000 portal, right? So localhost 5000 slash API slash user, and when you use the API slash user, we are pointing to the user rights. So now I will show you what is group routes, right? So here in the user routes, whatever the routes we will write, all the routes that we will write in the user routes, that route will prefix with this whatever the written API user. So this with this prefix only our all the route. Suppose we have created slash register route in this user route. So our, let me show you, http, let me comment it, http localhost. I'm just showing you the example, right? Suppose our backend is running on the localhost 5000, okay, and then we want, I don't know, let me copy from this exact URL. Suppose our backend is running on the localhost 5000, okay, then our API, we have written our API users, and suppose when we'll write with the login and the register, it will start with the this login, not like this. So this is the correct, but this is when you try to go with this. So when you go for this localhost 5000 slash login, it will not work. So group routes means with this, with the same this common route, we are defining some other routes. So here this route will, the above the this parameter will be common to the login. So when you, whatever the route we will write here in the user routes, so like login or register, so it will start with this prefix API slash user. So it will not start like this is the wrong, we have to remove, we don't want, we, this is the wrong way. So this how it will work. Few lines are pending, and we have to app.listen, so we have to start the port, right, console.log server running on this port. So here is, it is showing the error like user out.js, so we have to complete it. So let's create the group routes. So to create group route, we use express.router, then router.post means we are sending some data to the backend, right? So when you log in, right, or register, we are sending some information to the backend, so we are using router.post, means posting or some data. Then we have to write like, let me, so here on the slash register means it will go to this API slash users slash register, then it will say a async operation, right? So in this async operation, we will take what are the things we are going to take from the user, while when the user is getting registered, we'll get the user name, email and password, right? You can see that it's showing me all these things. My AI assistant is supporting me writing the code. So here you can see that we have written the try catch and block, right? And this try catch and block checking, after getting, suppose we get the name, email and password, then we have to check in the try catch and block. So whenever you are doing some async operation checking something, so use a try catch block, right? So here we have a user exist. So if user exist with this email, suppose I have created some email ID and user is already exist, so why I don't want to register with the same email ID with the user, because user is already present in the database. So user can go and log in directly. So if user try to log in with the same email, similar register, sorry. So if user want to register with the same email, and then it will show this error. So here what it does, we are using async await. So user is our model that we have created, the user model, right? So we have to use this user model that we have exported, this user model, right? Name with this user export default user model, right? So this user model we are using, and in this model we are finding our email. So suppose this is our database, and in our this model we are finding, so this is our users model. Suppose this is our users model, and here we are finding our email in our database one by one. Is our email is present or not? So if our email is present in our database, so how to find one with this email? If our email is present, then it will show a error that user is already exist. So here the status will be 400, right? And it will show a JSON response with this message, right? This is easy, right? Now if user is not present, suppose if user is not present in our database, so we have to create a new user, we have to register a new user, right? So we can create a new user by user.create with the name, email and password, whatever the user has entered. So here in the if user, suppose if we created the user, it will send the response with this JSON 201, means the user has been created with this JSON response. Like we will, if user is created, suppose we have created the user, then when we register the user, it will create something like this in the database. So we have registered the user in the database, but we want to send the response to the front end, the user data. So we have to send this ID, email, name and password. Not password, we can send the ID, name, email to the front end. So we are sending the user ID. So user and underscore ID. Why you are using underscore ID? So in the MongoDB you can see that the ID start with the underscore ID. So this ID we have to send to the front end. So whenever the new user register, it will create a unique ID. Then we are sending the name, so user.name, user.email and all this data we are sending. And not only this, we are using generate token with the user ID, right? So whenever the user is registered, suppose we have logged out, right? Suppose we don't have a JWT token, you can see that the JWT token is empty. Let's register some random user like gmail.com 12345612345 So suppose I am going to create an account, so it will create a account, right? And it's shown as JWT token. See, it created a JWT token immediately, right? So what it does when the user is created, right? So with this user you can see that it sent that this all data also, and also the token, the user that token has been generated. And this token, what generate token does, it will generate the token with the JWT secret in the user ID. So it will take this user ID. When the user will register, it will take that ID, and with that user ID you can see that user ID, it will generate the token and send to the front end. And here you can see that we have a message if user invalid user. Suppose if user is not there, so it will show a invalid user data. And if you are using try catch block, so here in the catch we pass the error message. So what is the error message? So in some internal server issue, whatever the issue it will be, it will show in this 500 error dot message. And now we will write for the login. So login is very easy. So here both are quite easy. Not only login, register is also easy, but login is quite easy. So here when you are creating login, that time also we are sending some data from the front end to the backend. So we are using post. So router.post, then slash login. On the login path we are doing the async operation, and in this we are getting, when user is login, what are the things we are getting? Suppose in the user is login, name, email and password, not name, only email and password. So we'll get the email and password from the request body. What that request body does, it will take the that input whatever user has given, and it will take and create and login with the user email and password. So const will write, first we will find that, suppose we have get that user email and password. So now we will, what we'll do, we'll find the user email is easy. Suppose user has already registered, suppose I have already registered, and I want to log in again after logout. So I will check that user is present in our database or not, otherwise I will not allow user to log in, right? So if user is present in our database, only we will allow user to log in. So user dot find one dot, sorry, email. So not email, we can write like user, not email. So we'll find the user with this email. So initially we are, similarly we are finding the, if already exist, so then we will not register the user, and here we are finding email again for login. If our user is present in database, then we will allow user to log in with their email and password. Then here you can see that my AI is recommending this. So we find the email, but we have to match the password also, right? The user has written the correct password or not, right? Here user has, suppose user has written the correct email and our database approved that user email is present, but user, suppose user has entered the wrong password, right? How we will check? So we have to check that also. So to check that, we have to write like, if user and, here if user and await user dot match password dot password. So this password, so that password that we user has written, that will pass to the match password, user dot match password. So in this, suppose we got the user, right? And with this, in this, suppose we got the user, then with this user we have to match the password. So match password that we have created in the user model. So here you can see that the user schema method is match with the match password. What is that? If the user has entered the password, it will go with the enter password, and this password means the database password and the user unit password. It will compare, bcrypt.compare. If both are matched, then only allow user to log in. So suppose it match, suppose this match, then we give a response to the user with the id, name, email and the token. So when the user is logged, suppose we don't have general token right now, so suppose user has written the right password and email, so it will give the user data, right? And the user has been logged in, right? And the token also created. So always pass the response. When you are user requesting something, you have to give the response also, right? So after this we'll write the else condition for the error, right? So if user has written the email, wrong email or password, it will show invalid email or password. So suppose I log out here and I written the wrong password, so see, invalid credential, right? So similarly you can show the message like invalid credential, invalid user email and password, right? So now we will go for the another route. So user has login register. Now user want to update our their profile setting. User want to get their data. Suppose when we click on this user icon, we get the user data, we get the data. Now we want to update the data, so we can fill and update the data. The two things we are performing in this profile route. What are the two things? We are getting the data from the user. So when you click on this icon, we get the user data, all these things like name, email, and the this blank current and new password. Suppose I want to update the data, so we have to perform second HTTP method. First we'll get the data, the get method, then we'll perform the put method to update the data. So here let's write. First we'll get the data. When user click on a profile data, profile icon, it is getting the user profile data, right? So we will use router.get, means we'll get the data. We are getting the data, we are not giving something to the backend, we are getting the data from the backend with the profile like route, right? And in this we are using protect middleware. So now we are using protect middleware. Why we are using protect middleware? So protect middleware, what it does, it protect that. So this is the protect auth middleware that we have created, right? So whenever user is logged in, right, the JWT token has been created, right? This is the token that has been created. Is either the token is present in our headers authorization, either the token will present in our cookies. So if user is, so if you get the authenticated user, if the user is the I am the right user, right? So then only we will allow that user to log in, right? Then sorry, then we will allow user to get the profile data. Suppose I am not this Becodewala, I am not this Becodewala, I am not able to get that. Suppose I am other user, so I am not able to get the other profile, user profile, right? So you have to check with this token. So am I the authorized user to get my or this all this data? So we will check with this token. So the protect middleware, and protect middleware, what it does, it check the token is present in our cookie or authorization header node. So how to get the user profile? Like user will create a const variable, and in this will find the user by ID, right? So if user is login, we get the user ID, requested data user ID, and this all this thing coming from the token, right? Our token. So this protect middleware get the user ID. So here you can see that they can requested user, right? If we will not write this line of code, we will not get the user profile. So the protect middleware is very important. So here we, after getting the user data with the ID, suppose we get the user data and we don't want to show the password on the UI, right? The password should be in the database only. So we dot select hyphen password, means we will remove that password. We don't want this password, other than we want all data other than the password. So we want all data other than password, so that's why we have written hyphen password. Suppose we get the requested user by ID. What this find by ID does, it find in the database with that ID, right? And this ID coming from the auth middleware, and auth middleware getting the ID from the cookies and this authorization header. And in this our token is present, and in our token our user ID is there. And in and how we are creating token, we are creating token with the user ID and the JWT secret. So this is the proper flow of our application. So now if user, suppose if we find the user, so suppose we get the user, then we want to show them the user data. Suppose if user is authorized, we want to show that the name, email, and the current and change password. This is the other. So we want to show the data. So here we are showing the name, email, right? So here on the front end we are showing the name and email data, right? You can see that the name and email. So this is the data we are passing, right? And if any error is coming, so it will show user not found. Now we have other two things, the black thing, the current and new password. So this is the blank, we don't have any data. So because these three fields are for the other HTTP method like put. So we will update the our change password, will update the password. So we will use put, HTTP method put, right? So how to update our profile data? So now we will see to update. So router dot put, before you are using router dot get, we will use router dot put. So put is used to update our data. So here on the profile only, in the profile slash only, will update so here also we have to use a protect middleware. Suppose I am other person and I am Becodewala and I am updating for the other user, so I can't update the profile password for the other. I can update the profile password for my only, right? So that's why we are using protect middleware. So it will protect every route, so our application security will maintain, right? So we'll get the name, email, password from the request body. So not email, password, we'll get the name. What are the things we are changing? First we'll see what are the things here. Email cannot be changed, you can see that we have written we don't want to change because it is the unique ID that we are using. When the user is we can't change the unique thing that we are using. When user is login, we are using checking with the email ID, right? So we can't change the email. So other than other things like name and password we can change, right? The current password and the new password, right? So we can change the name, then we can change the, let me say, name const name current password and new password. So we have to change the name, current password and the new password. So in the request body will get the input. What are the input? We are going to get the name, current password, we are getting the input and the new password. So we will see one by one. So suppose we get this data from the front end. Now we will find the user. So suppose I want to change my profile, I want to update my profile data. So how to check I am the authenticated user, right? So that user ID, this is coming, the ID coming from the token, right? This middleware, the protect middleware, request.user.id, and if the this ID is present in our database, the user model, then we can perform the task. Suppose if user is not present, suppose if not user, suppose we don't get the user, so I'm not the authorized user, so it will show user not found, right? Then if name, agar if we update the name, then we can write user name dot name. So if we got the name, we can update the name. How to update the name? See here, if name, suppose we got the name, so we will update the name in our database. So here user.name equal to name, so whatever the user has input the name, and this is the user input name, and this is the user database name. So we will replace the user database name with the this current name that the user has given, right? So here user, suppose I have written Becodewala subscribe please. So I will update this. So I have updated. So now it has been updated, right? I have changed the name. So we have replaced that the existing, what is the existing username with the name. I think our database, I think the current one, let me check Todo user. So see, this is the name that we updated now, right? See the name that we updated now. So this is the another database cluster that I have created before the running project, right? So that is the different. So here the project we are running right now. So here you can see that the Becodewala subscribe list. This the name has been updated, right? Updating the name, we can update the other thing. Suppose I want to update the password. So before updating my password, it will check the current password, that the current password that is present in our database. So this is our password that is in a hash form. So it will decrypt and it will check with the that password that I have entered, and if our password match with this, then it will give me authorization to log in, and it will update my the new password. So the current password will be replaced with the new password. So how to update? So if current password and new password, suppose we have given the current password and the new password, so how to check that the current password is matched? So here we are using match password that we have written in the user model, right? The match password. So it will check the enter password, and from the database, this dot password means the database password. So it will match, right? If it is matched, after the our password, current password is matched with the password that is present in the database, so we are using await. So it may take time to check, right, in the database. So use await. If the message, the password has been correct, then it will update the password. Like the new password is the user entered password. So user had entered the new password, right? We will update the current password. What is the current password? User dot password. This password name should be correct, right? This password name should match with this. So during our creation of model, right, we have written the same. So here password, this the same naming should be there, right? So user dot password will update to the new password, and if any error, suppose current password does not match, right, so then it will show a error, current password is incorrect, right? So we will not update the password, right? And after that, what we will do, we will write it. We have not given response to the, so after updating we have to give the response, right? So that we can show on the front end, right? So we have updated up to database. Now we have to show up the front end. So we will try catch, right? So here, and we have shown the error. So if any error will be shown, it will show with the error 400, 500. So whatever the perfect status code is there, you can write it. And here, so after updating, suppose we have updated, so we have to save the user also, right? We are we are we are changing the here user dot password equal to password, we have changed, but we have to save in the database. So in the database it will save only if we use user dot save. So user dot save will save the this whatever the user, the name has changed, and whatever the new password, that will not be saved until we use await user dot save. Means user, that user that we have get that user from the id, with that the specific user we have to save that the new password and the name, right? We have to save that in the database. So this will save, update the database. Suppose before it was not like subscribe please, and if we remove this, suppose if we remove this, so it is here we have a change, right? So it should save in the database also. So here when you refresh it, so refresh the database, and let me refresh it. here see, let me go. So here you can see that it has been, now it is only Becodewala, right? So the name has been updated, right? The Becodewala name. So the name has been saved to the database, right? And after that we have to show to the front end also. So we have to send the response also. Then in the JSON we have to send the ID, name, email, and when we are updating we don't need to send the token. We want to send name and email only, right? So here we are showing the user the name and the email from the database, not the password, right? So these two things we are showing, and ID we are passing to for the specific user that we want, right? So this is it for our profile update, right, for the user. Now we will write for the logout. So logout is the very easy to write. So for the router we create, for the logout we create post. So what is the poster? Suppose here the user is logged in, right? The user has the cookies, right? And the user has the theme, the user ID, and everything in the this local storage, the name, email. You can see the B code, the name, email, and the ID. This ID present should be in the database. See, the ID start with the underscore ID. So 68 start with the 68 and end with the 1B. So you can start with the 68 or end with the 1B. You can see that here the same password 677. You can match this, it will have the same ID. So this user is currently logged in. So when I log out, so this local storage will get empty and cookie JWT token will be empty. So see, so this JWT token get empty and the this our user ID is got empty, and we are on the current theme dark, right? That's why it's showing the theme is dark, right? So we have to remove that thing when the user is logged in. We have to remove the user ID. So let's log in. We have to remove that user data, that ID, name, and our user data, and the JWT token from the cookie. Then only user will be logged out. So we will create this logout route, and what are the response we have to send. So here we can write like rest dot cookies. First we'll clear the cookie, right? So cookie, and in this we'll pass the JWT. So our cookie name is JWT, the token in the cookie, the token name is JWT. So we pass the JWT, and then the second parameter we will keep it as empty, and we'll pass the HTTP only true, and expire we can write expired with a date journey, means it will expire right now. Or we can write like max is equal to 0, then then also it will expire, means 0 it will expire immediately, their maximum age will be become 0. And we can write like production will be, if we want to write you can write it, otherwise we can remove it, no need. But only this, the main thing, the important thing, the max is 0. And otherwise we can write the expire time also with the new date object, right? So with the 0 it remove means it is not applicable, the age has been expired, so no token will be present. And here we can show the message user has been logged out successfully, right? So this is how we have to log out the user, right? So this is for the user routes, and here you can see that the some error has been shown. Let me close the server, restart again. So what is the error right now? So the error was coming, so you can see that the error was coming. I have fixed the error. So what are the error I am going to tell you. So here we have when we create user routes.js must import your router group. So export default router. This is the router initially we have created, right? From the express router we have to export that every router is in this group route. Every route is in this group route, and after creating we have to export also. Then only you can use in our server.js. Here only we can use if we export it from the user route. So this is the first error it was coming. Second error it was coming because of its task route, because we have not created yet. And and the third error was, so here the third error was, here you can check the import statements. So I was using curly braces, so I was using name export, right? But we have not exported our model using name export. So here we are using default export, not the name export. So do not use curly braces. So these are the three errors that we are doing with the some importing exporting. This is only the error it was coming. So please check on that, so you are importing the correct thing. So here we are using curly braces because we have exported as the name export. So here in the protect middle, see how we exported as the name export, but in the user model we have exported as a export default mode, right? So this is the two way to export, and this is the first way to import. See, and here the second way to import. First way, like we can import like export default. So when you use export default means you are exporting by default, so you can use import, so like this. And here if you are using name export, then you can import like this, right? So these are the two things, keep remember. And must export after creating all these things, must export our router, so that it will should not give error. So you can see that the server is running. So let's test this. So to test our API is working correctly or not, we have to go with the Postman. So go open, install the Postman. It is very easy to install. Go on the Chrome and install Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, whatever it is. You can search Postman downloads, and you can install the application very easily. So you can go and install, right? And let's test the API, right? So let me log in first with the Postman. Let me enter my password. Yeah, captcha has been verified. Now I will able to log in. So you can open in our app. See, I am authorized now. I have logged in, and now it will open my Postman application, and here we will test our API. Our API is working or not. So to test this, you can click on the workspace on the top, right? Click on the workspace, create a workspace, like name the workspace like Todo IT. I have given Todo IT, right? Create a workspace, and after creating the workspace, go with the blank only. I'll go with the blank, and name like learning MERN Stack. And you can select whatever the option, right? Internal, public, or whatever you want, and it will create your workspace. So click on create. So no need to create to set up your team. If you like Becodewala, so whatever I'm just writing the random things, right? So you can write any random things. If you want to share, you can share, but I'm just doing the random things. I want to show you some, test some API, right? REST API basics. So click on this plus, and it will create some REST API basics. So when we have to register, we have to check the register first, right? So let me copy localhost URL. So first we have to write the localhost URL. So our check the backend. Our backend is running on the 5000. You can see that server is running on the 5000 because in the server we have written the port, the 5000 that we have defined above, the 5000, right? So we have to write the http localhost 5000, right? And after that, to test the register, so how our user is going to register in server.js, we have a, for the registering user we have a API users. Then after API users, what are the things we have? API users slash register. So we are using group routes. So it will start with the API users and then write register, right? Then only it will work. And in the body, so in request body, what are the things we are passing? So in the user, right, when the user is registering, we are passing the request body name, email and password, right? So here you can write your name, and here body and raw, when you are passing data, so pass in the body and the raw format. And here in the this text area, write your name like Vikas, then, and it should be in like this JSON format. And like email we can pass like hello at gmail.com, and we can pass like password hello 1234. So here we have to pass the email password. So in the body we are passing the email password, right? So to connect your Mongo URI to the MongoDB Atlas. So here in our we have installed this MongoDB Atlas, right? So to connect this, click on this plus icon and you can just paste it, and here you can change the name and the color and click on save and connect, right? And it will be connected. After connecting, it will give this thing. So in this we will get a to do IT, and in this we have a user model, right? And then only it will be shown. So when we are registering our user, let me delete this. I'll delete all of this thing. Let me delete the whole document only. So I was testing some error was coming, right? So first of all we have to connect your MongoDB by clicking on this plus icon, and here we have to write the your MongoDB URI that we have given in the this .env file, right? And after connecting, when I register a new user, erase.cookie is not a function, but our user has been registered because there is no, see, the name with this email and password has been registered, right? Our user has been registered, but no cookie has been created. You can see that the cookie is empty, the cookie is empty, right? No cookie has been created because rest.cookie is not a function, because we are passing our cookies in the response. We don't have to pass the cookie in the response. We have to create our cookie when the user is giving his name, email, password. Then that time we have to create that, not to pass in the here in the response. So here what we have to do, we have to remove this, right? And we have to pass this here in the if statement. If user exists, sorry, if user has passed this email password, the user will create and save to the database. This create function will automatically save to the database. That's why when we are here registering with the postman, we are testing our API, the user has been registered to the MongoDB database, but it is showing error, right? Because of this, because we are passing in the response.json, right? Because we don't have to pass, we have to create here the token when the user is registered. And when in the token, in the when the user is creating, we are passing the two parameter, a response and the user id, right? So here we are passing the only the user id, so we have to pass the response also, otherwise it will give the error. So this generate token function, this is coming from this generate token that we have created this file, right, to create the token, right, that we have seen before. In this we are passing two parameter, response and user id, right? Here you can see the user id and response, and this user id is coming from the user database, and with the when the user has been created, it will create a id, right? The id will be created here, and with this id and the response, it will create a token, and it will give this email and password, right? And now when I try to register, let me delete, sorry, let me keep it this, and we will delete, will remove this first of all. And now let's create, see, before it was showing the res.cookie is not a function. So now register a new user like Becodewala. So write name Becodewala. So when user is log registering, so it will show a response, so response has been shown, this id has been created, and name and email has been given in the response. And not only this, you can see the cookie, the jwt token has stored in the cookie also. So now our project is running totally fine, and you can see that the headers also, in the headers also we have a cookie, and the this jwt token in the header, our jw token is present, and the cookie also, right? That are two logic we have written, and test result has been passed, right? So and 201 means our user has been created. So we have successfully written this code, and you can change this little code, we can move to this up, and it will work. So this how our register is working. Now suppose I want to check for the login, I want to log in with this email id, right? So let me duplicate this, and here let me write like login. So suppose I am writing the login, so here we can pass the login. And I told you before also, see, it will start with the group route, right? So if you write only register, so it will not work, it will show error, see, error, cannot post slash register, because its route is invalid, right? So we have to pass this. And if you try to register with the same email, then it will show a message, user already exists, means we have already created, right? Now we have to log in, so log in with the, we go to the body, and we have to pass the login data. So what is the login data? In the login we have to pass the email and password, do not pass name. So in the login we are passing email and password. So when I try to log in, so it will be logged in, so but it is showing error, arrest.cookie is not a function. See the same mistake we have done here also. So here also we have to remove this, see the same mistake we have done. So here before, here we have to pass before response.json, we have to pass the generate token, right? We have to pass the generate token, and here we are passing two parameter, response and the user id, right? That we are passing the generate token, response and user id. Now it will not show error. Let's log in now. So see, we have logged in successfully with the name Becodewala and email that we have registered with this, right? Becodewala name and email. Now with that email and password we have logged in, and with the same id, you can see that the same id, you can check the same id that we have been created, see. And the cookie, when we will log in, our cookie has been created, right? And in the header also our jwt token is there, right? So test your api, you have written correct or not, and test it in the postman, install postman, and check the your details. So now let's check for the profile also. So profile, we have to get the data, we have to get the data. So to get the data, first we'll copy this, and here api users profile, so we have to get the profile. profile of the logged in user. I am already logged in, right? I'm already logged in. My cookie is present. My cookie is present here, so I can fetch my profile, right? So if I am logged in, I can fetch. So you can see authorized no token. Why it is showing in the cookies? If it might be in this else if request dot cookie dot c. The mistake is this request dot cookie dot jwt, not token. Our token is present with the name jwt, right? See, our when we logged in, right? When we logged in, our name is jwt, our cookie name. So to get the data, so we have to change that request.cookies.jwt, not token. So here also jwt, right? Not token, because we write with the name jwt. Our token is present with the name jwt, right? And here also, here we are storing in the token, right? So after getting the token, we have to pass, we are passing in the this token, and here in the token the verifying, right? Now it is correct. Let now check our profile data. So now it's showing some error. So you can see the error cannot read properties of null and all this thing. So error is here. You can see that in the clearly in this reading underscore id. So here before we are passing id, so here we are passing id decode.id, but when we are creating our token, right, when we are creating our token, we have passed user id, not id. When you are signing, they are passing id, user id. So in this user id, the id will be present when the jwt token is created. The with this name only it will be present, the user.id, the same name when we are creating the token, and now we are decoding the token. So to decode the token, we have to use the same name, user id, right? So then only it will decode the token that we have created using this function generate token. So we have to pass the same name, the user id that we have written here, user id, right? With the same name we have to decode it. So we have to get that, and then it will find the profile. So these are the errors we will get, and we have to fix this error line by line. We have to find where is the error, and we'll to fix the all error in our application. So you can see that we have successfully fetched our profile, and our cookie is also present here. So this how we have tested our profile. But if we want to update our profile, suppose this on the same route we can update our profile also. To update, we have to pass the name, current password, and password. Suppose I don't want to change the password, I want to change the name only. So go on the raw, and here we can create a JSON name, and here, and then when you are updating, so let me update in a different way. So here in the put, so here we will do the task in put. So when updating, we are using put http method. Here in the body we have to pass the name, right? So don't want. So here we have to fetch the date user profile, right? We have fetched the name, email, but I want to change Becodewala to something, the name. So to update the profile, we have used put, the http method put, and we have written the same url, right? The same url we had passed, right? You can check it here. We have passed the same url profile only to update our profile, same route. So here we have to pass the name in the. So I want to change the name only, not password. So suppose I want to change name only, so I can write like please. So we can write name like Vikas, Becodewala to Vikas. So let me send the request. I can see that the name has been changed. And now if I want to get my profile, here the name will change here to be because here now it is Becodewala, right? Let's send the response request, and after sending the request the response has came, right? Name to Vikas. So we have successfully updated our profile. So we have checked how to update the profile, eh, and how to get the profile, and how to log in, how to register. One thing last we have remained in the user right is logout. So check for logout. So when we are checking for logout we have to use post, right? So we're using post. So let me duplicate this, and here we can write logout, and we have to log out with the this URL. We have to pass the URL first, API users logout, right? So in logout we are not passing any request body, something like that, right? Just we have to log out, just we have to remove that JWT token and it will log down. So currently in the cookies we have a JWT token, you can see that this JWT token, right? And we have to remove this. So when we remove this, user will automatically, so here user is able to get the profile, right? Because user is logged in. So let's log out the user and remove the JWT. So log out successfully, and when we see, when you see the cookie, zero cookies, so cookie has been removed. And when I try to get my profile, right? So it will say no authorized token, means the token has been removed because user is successfully log out. So we have successfully tested our all the API routes for the user routes, right? So this is for the user routes. The next we will see task routes, right? So we will see. So task route we will see in the next part of this tutorial. So we will meet in the next part of tutorial with the great explanation of the other routes, and I will give the whole source code after completing this project. So don't worry, I will give the whole source code by the completion of this project. So thank you. We'll meet in next part of the tutorial.